He never asked to be a hero. One moment he was fighting for his life, and the next he was torn from his own world, hurled through a violent vortex of light and darkness. When he opened his eyes, the sky was dusty, the ground cold, and a ring of armored men stood over him with spears drawn. They didn't know who he was, and after everything he had been through, he wasn't sure anymore either. They chained his hands and dragged him across barren land toward a towering stone fortress. Their leader believed he was an enemy, a spy, maybe even a curse. No one listened to him. No one cared where he came from. Everywhere he walked, he heard whispers, rumors of a darkness haunting their land, and somehow, they believed he was part of it. They marched the prisoners into the courtyard. One by one, men were thrown into a deep pit, and none ever returned. When they shoved him forward, it seemed like it was over. But what waited below wasn't death. It was something far worse. A twisted creature lunged out of the shadows, relentless, monstrous, a living echo of the evil he thought he had escaped long ago. Down there was no mercy, only fear, instinct, and survival. He fought with everything he had, and somehow he climbed back out alive. That was the moment everything changed. The crowd no longer looked at him with hatred, but with awe. Their fear turned into hope. The wise man spoke of an ancient prophecy, a traveler from another world, a warrior who would end the curse. He didn't see himself as a savior. He barely knew who he was anymore. But the wise man promised him one thing. If he helped them, he could go home. He didn't care about prophecies or ancient wars. All he wanted was his life back. But there was only one way. A book. Hidden far beyond their walls, guarded by forces that didn't belong to this world. Retrieve it. Speak the sacred words. And his journey home would begin. He accepted the mission, not out of courage, but because he had nothing left to lose. The path led him into a dead forest where the wind howled through twisted trees. Something followed him there, fast, invisible, cruel. He ran through the darkness, branches tearing at his clothes, until he found an old windmill rising from the fog. He forced his way inside, believing he'd finally escaped. Inside, the shadows played tricks on him. His reflection stared back from a broken mirror, but it didn't move the way he did. Then, tiny reflections of himself crawled out of the shattered glass, laughing, taunting, tormenting him like echoes of his own madness. What began as chaos became something worse, because one of them grew into another version of him, a twisted double, smiling, alive. By the time he reached the graveyard, he was exhausted, shaken, desperate to end the nightmare. The book was there, waiting. He had been warned to speak the sacred words perfectly, but he hesitated. He faltered. And in that single careless moment, something beneath the earth began to move. And that was only the beginning.